I guess December 7th was the real breaker of it. And I was on 17 because hadn't even turned 18 yet, because I know when I turned 18 I got my little thing in the mail saying they wanted me. So
greetings.
We trained at Camp Croft, South Carolina.
Okay.
I remember that much. You know, it was rough work. Yeah, we used to, they give us a force field hike or something where you have a full pack and you have to run half the time and walk. Well, there was 3 of us guys that didn't figure it was worth all the trouble, so we didn't run much. And when we got back, the captain says, "Well, what were you guys doing out there?" And this one guy says, well, first he says, "What would you do if the Germans have been chasing you?" And one guy says to him, "Well, we kept watching, we didn't see nobody chasing us." So we all got KP, but the guy in KP, he always got a kick out of me. He said, "I don't know how you get KP so much." I said, "Well, I love it over here with you guys, with you. You know, I got along real good with the sergeant that ran the KP hall there." And I said, "It's a lot easier than that other work they want you to do." I said, "I'd rather be on KP anything." It was January 45.
January 45?
Yeah, January we went overseas. Sent me over in January, and I said in May I had the war licked over in Germany. And the funniest thing is that while I was over there, I had a baby brother born. So the captain says to me, he says, "You got a brother that's 18 years older, and you got a brother that's 18 years younger." He said, he kept thinking, he says, "My God, that mother of yours must have been quite a girl." I forgot to tell him we had 2 different mothers.
Yeah, different
Yeah,
mothers,
that's unreal. We used to bomb until there was nothing there. Like I remember when we crossed the Rhine River and went up through Frankfurt, there was no place for anybody to hide. The buildings were all gone. They were flattened. You know, there was nothing but rubble.
So what unit were you assigned to then? Was it 317th? Was it the regiment?
Regiment, yeah, in the 80th Division. That's the one above it, I guess.
Yep, and then the 3rd Army.
3rd Army, that's what it was.
There we go.
Well, see, we went in right there at Bastogne, and we had to break through but that's where I joined them up. They were real short on men. I guess there's been a lot of them killed before I got there.
So you joined them at Bastogne?
Bastogne, yeah.
What is the situation in Bastogne?
Our forces have completely encircled the Americans. Their situation is hopeless. They have no recourse but to surrender.
At the time?
Oh, yes. Yeah, it was active, all right.
Yeah. This is the Battle of the Bulge.
Battle of the Bulge, that's what they call it.
At the time.
You've probably seen the movie. I know every time it's on, I see it again. It was a real bad weather. It was blizzard weather. And we had foxholes and tried to keep dry. It was getting to the point they were getting run down, really.
Mm-hmm.
And they kept getting, it was getting to the point where they were giving up a lot of it because they were hungry and we had food. And, you know, they didn't realize that they could get something to eat. Once word got around, everybody was coming in with their hands up there. We had a hard time keeping track of them. I had to go back to company headquarters because they wanted a volunteer. Well, nobody volunteers in the Army. Now all the people that are there are volunteer, but we were all drafted. So I never volunteered, but the captain says, "Well, nobody wants to volunteer," so he says, "You'll have to come back to company headquarters. You'll be a runner."
Okay.
And a runner, I didn't really want the job, but what are you going to do? I had to go up in the dark and stuff, you know, to the front lines and take messages. Instead of having a radio like they have radios more today, you had to carry stuff by hand. Boy, that's spooky at night when it's dark. Next morning, the outfit where I was the lead scout in my platoon, I was in the front. The next morning they were ambushed they run into a machine gun, German machine gun. They were all killed except for the 3 back ones. So I would have been dead if the captain hadn't moved me up. So he actually saved my life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you ever reflect on that? Kind of serendipity?
Well, you kind of wonder, yeah. I was glad I didn't have to join up before D-Day because, boy, that's where they lost. The outfit also a lot of people D-Day. I got dug a lot of foxhole. But you know, the dumbest part was you dig a foxhole. This one place we were up on a hill there and we're digging, there's a lot of roots and stuff. It was hard work. So the guy says to me, well, how come you aren't digging? I said, wait a while, we're going to be moving on in a half hour. That's what happened. I used to ride along on the back of a truck, and there'd be little kids along there, and we're all handing out candy bars to them.
Really?
Poor kids hadn't seen chocolate bars in years, probably.
Oh my gosh. Was there a lot of black market stuff going on in your groups? Where you got cigarettes and candy bars? And did you trade them and sell them? And
yeah. I was great in that. I was lucky I didn't get in the stockades, but...
How so?
Well, I used to get cigarettes for $1 and you could sell them for $20 on the street. And I went on, came back up from a furlough, I remember. And the sergeant says, well, you want to go back for another hitch on the furlough? But you used to go down to Nice, on the Riviera, just like going to Florida. I said, I'll go. I said, well, don't anybody else want? He says, nobody got any money. I said, well, I think I can dig up a little somewhere. So, get my cigarettes, go downtown. Well, this one place we were in Austria, I'll never forget, we went in this little thing along the road. They had a place where they do pictures and stuff. You take your film and I said to the guy, well, he says, you better hurry and get out here somewhere. He says, there's MPs headed for the building. I can see them coming up the street. So I said, well, what about the bathroom in the back? Is there a window? And he said, well, it's not very big. So me and this other guy that were running together, we go in there, and the guy said, God, I'll never get through that window. I said, I think I can make it. I was quite small at the time. So I got through the window, but never heard any more from the other guy. I don't know if he ended up in the stockade or what, but he never turned my name in, so I made out all right. I was a little more careful after that.
I know you were part of Patton's army. Did any reason to ever see him? Did you?
Oh, yeah.
Did you?
He'd come right up front with that big tank of his, and he'd open up the thing. And one guy told me, he said, now, just like on that movie it showed where that kid was scared, and he slapped him upside the head with his gloves there. Well, he got in trouble for that. But one guy says, don't let him, don't act like you're scared. So he opened up his thing, and then he said, we'd be a couple guys in a foxhole there, and he said, you guys scared? Hell no, we aren't scared. We were scared to death, but we didn't tell him.
Yeah.
That's what I like. Soldiers that aren't frightened. He didn't realize how frightened we were.
So what do you think? He's a personality.
Oh yeah, he was. I still say, that's why I keep telling these Marines that come back, I said, if you had a guy like Patton up there, this war wouldn't last though, that'd be all done. He said, what do you mean? I said, well, Patton wasn't good at taking orders. Eisenhower was his head boss. So he'd gather a bunch of us around and he'd say, Eisenhower called and he don't want us to go any farther tonight. He wants us to camp right here. He says, hell with Eisenhower, let's go down the road another 10 miles. We got to get this war over with. That's just the way he talks. Got to get this war over with. I think that's the only reason it didn't last long over there, because he kept moving ahead. Eisenhower would find out he's 10 miles down the road where he ain't supposed to be. He'd give him a dirty, what do you call, on the phone, but didn't do any good. They're big ones, what do you call it, 88s? We even had one land right on the corner of our foxhole one night. And we had a big rock that we shoved up there, and that thing was blowed right down on top of us. Matter of fact, there was 3 of us. I don't know how we had a foxhole that big. There was 3 of us in one foxhole. And the one guy on top, he got concussion. They had to send him back. Where I was on the bottom of the pile. I hit the bottom before anybody else, and they were on top of me. So I didn't have to go back. Maybe I'd been lucky if I went back. I don't know.
Somebody sprayed VE Day, Victory in Europe Day, and buttercream frosting on the victory cake.
I was the runner yet there, and I had to go out and tell the guys on the front line that the war was over, and they're still out there shooting away. And one guy says, well, he says, you better tell them over there too, because he says they're shooting over here, so we're shooting back. So that's the way it was. I was over there for another year after the war was over. What do you call it? Occupation.
Occupation, yeah.
Yeah, we were in Nuremberg. I was around Nuremberg during the trials there they had.
What was the city like at the time? I mean, just
Kind of beat up.
Was it?
Yeah. Yeah, they took a lot of bombing. That's where like guards, but I was never in the trial. Another thing we had to do, I know our outfit, we had to transport displaced persons back to Poland and all over. We went through all different countries. I can remember taking freight load trains of displaced people back from Germany. They'd been in prisons and everything else, and taking them back over to, a lot of them were Polish. They were from Poland. I know we'd go in there and dump them out, and I don't know where somebody pick them up and take them somewhere.
Were they happy?
Yeah, they seemed happy to get back to their homeland.
Yeah.
They were Polish, so they were glad to get back to Poland.
Can you live with him now after the parade?
What?
Can you live with him now that he's a grand marshal?
I have been up until this point.